Which Chinese factory supplies for Louis Vuitton? Let me tell you the secret. Louis Vuitton had many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it.
Battlefield is TikTok. It is flooded with such factory videos. Chinese suppliers are reaching out to American customers direct.
They're now offering you the same exact stuff. No middleman, no markup.
Shoes from China to your country.
Who are the suppliers behind Solomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la. First.
What if everything you thought you knew about luxury fashion was completely off? Picture this scenario. After months of saving up, skipping your usual treats, and avoiding impulsive buys, you finally treat yourself to that coveted Louis Vuitton handbag. The epitome of style, heritage, and expert craftsmanship. You walk into the store, heart pounding with excitement, and make that big purchase. But then, a few weeks later, while browsing social media, you come across a viral clip revealing a shocking truth. Your prized bag, marketed as a carefully handcrafted piece from France, was actually mass-produced overseas. Not just anywhere, but reportedly in a large-scale factory in China, where production costs are just a tiny fraction of the retail price. Sounds unbelievable? That's exactly what many believed until the proof emerged. A surge of viral videos, sparked by a TikTok post with millions of views, is now challenging the very core of luxury branding. Leaked footage, supplier documents, and behind-the-scenes glimpses have ignited a storm of speculation and discussion. Could it be that the world of luxury is built more on image than genuine craftsmanship? Fans and fashion enthusiasts are up in arms. Dedicated Louis Vuitton collectors feel deceived, their confidence shaken. Comment sections overflow with shock and frustration, though some supporters argue that design and quality still hold true importance, no matter where items are made. Meanwhile, Chinese factories are stepping into the spotlight, playing a central role in a rapidly evolving fashion story. This isn't just a controversy, it's a massive disruption to how value, quality, and exclusivity are perceived. Get ready, because the luxury industry might never be viewed the same way again. It all started with a seemingly simple 30-second video clip, just another piece of content floating around social media platforms. But this one hit differently and caught widespread attention. The footage showed a factory worker calmly sitting at her workstation inside a manufacturing facility located in China. With steady hands, she was sewing the famous Louis Vuitton monogram onto what appeared to be a handbag destined for stores worldwide. However, what truly shocked viewers wasn't her skill, it was her revealing statement. "These cost about $15 to produce," she said, looking into the camera. "But in stores, they're priced at thousands." That single comment sparked an immediate uproar. Within just a few hours, the video had gone viral, accumulating millions of views and igniting intense debates across platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Comments flooded and filled with disbelief, frustration, and confusion. Loyal luxury consumers, some who had spent months or even years saving to own just one Louis Vuitton item, felt deeply let down. The Louis Vuitton brand has always built its reputation on European tradition, boasting decades of storytelling centered around meticulous artisan workshops in France and skills passed down through generations. The name alone conjures images of Parisian sophistication and exclusivity. But this viral revelation tore that image apart. According to numerous insiders now speaking out, as much as 80%, or even more, of Louis Vuitton's products worldwide, from handbags and footwear to smaller leather goods, are actually produced outside Europe. Not in Paris, not Milan, but in large-scale factories in China. And it doesn't stop with Louis Vuitton. Industry insiders reveal that nearly every major luxury label, Gucci, Prada, Chanel, among others, also outsource heavily to Chinese factories to keep up with global demand. So why is the public reacting so strongly at this moment? Because China is no longer remaining silent about its pivotal role in the luxury supply chain. For years, the world of high fashion thrived on the illusion of European exclusivity. Chinese factories quietly operated behind the scenes, producing vast quantities, keeping a low profile, and collecting their earnings. But amid ongoing trade disputes, intellectual property tensions, and tariff battles, the narrative is shifting. China appears ready to openly acknowledge and take pride in being the powerhouse behind many luxury products. The message being sent is clear. We've been the driving force behind your favorite luxury items all along. But this revelation is only part of the story. Along with exposing the truth, a new wave of Chinese entrepreneurs and social media influencers is guiding consumers on how to bypass exorbitant luxury prices. Online platforms are now filled with tutorials on sourcing goods directly from manufacturers, spotting parallel quality alternatives, and understanding when a price tag is more about brand image than the actual product's worth. In short, the veil has been lifted. What was once regarded as the untouchable realm of elite fashion is rapidly being redefined before our eyes. For luxury brands, the age of secrecy and mystique may be coming to an end. What lies ahead? A consumer awakening, and possibly a worldwide rethinking of what true luxury really represents. Let's dive into the actual numbers behind that hefty price tag on a luxury handbag. Picture yourself walking into a boutique and spending $3,000 on a brand new Louis Vuitton purse. It sounds like a big splurge, right? But when you break it down, the costs involved are surprising, and they've been causing quite a stir online. The raw materials, the fine leather, metal hardware, and quality lining, usually add up to roughly $120, give or take a few dollars. The labor to assemble the bag, especially when production is outsourced to large factories overseas, is estimated to be about $15. When you factor in packaging and shipping, the total cost to make the bag still remains comfortably below $150. So, what happens to the remaining $2,850 or more? This is the part that isn't always front and center. A significant portion of that money goes into building and maintaining the brand's luxury image. Think lavish advertising campaigns, star-studded celebrity endorsements, collaborations with social media influencers, and eye-catching fashion shows. On top of that, the cost of operating stores in prestigious locations, like flagship boutiques in cities such as New York, Paris, and Tokyo, is incredibly high. And of course, there's the profit margin. At the end of the day, the price you pay isn't just for the physical bag. It's for the experience and status that come with owning a symbol of exclusivity. One viral tweet captured this perfectly. "I didn't pay $3,000 for a bag. I paid $3,000 to feel like I'm part of the elite." That single message resonated deeply, sparking thousands of responses from shoppers who suddenly wondered if they'd been buying more into an idea than an actual product. And now, as that illusion begins to fade, many devoted customers are starting to question everything they once believed about the world of luxury fashion. Feeling the heat from the viral uproar, Louis Vuitton acted quickly, and with a strong defensive stance. The brand issued an official statement firmly rejecting the allegations, describing the leaked footage and claims as misleading and harmful to the reputation of their craftsmanship. But LV didn't stop at just addressing the controversy verbally. In an unexpected development, they pursued legal action, filing lawsuits against some of their own manufacturing partners. Yes, the very factories they had trusted for years suddenly found themselves embroiled in a serious legal dispute. What makes this situation even more startling is what insiders have revealed. Apparently, these factories weren't just operating during normal working hours. After official shifts ended and the factory floors quieted down, the same production lines were allegedly used to produce near-identical replicas of Louis Vuitton products. These look-alike items were then sold through unofficial channels at much lower prices. Essentially, the factories were playing both sides, manufacturing genuine Louis Vuitton goods by day and churning out unauthorized copies by night. Louis Vuitton's legal team insists that these unauthorized activities have severely damaged the brand's image, accusing the factories of breaching contracts and breaking the trust essential to their partnership. The lawsuit argues that such actions harm consumer confidence and chip away at the exclusivity that LV has spent decades cultivating. However, many consumers and critics were not convinced by this defense. Instead, they redirected their frustration back at the company itself. Online conversations quickly filled with comments like, "It wasn't the fake bags that hurt your reputation. It was the fact that you charged $3,000 for something that costs $15 to make." Others argued that the luxury brand's mystique had already been compromised well before the recent revelations. For many, this controversy went beyond just counterfeit goods or legal battles. It was a moment of reckoning about the true nature of luxury and who really profits from the image it sells. As public frustration over the manufacturing controversy continued to ripple through news cycles and social media, Louis Vuitton made another bold and unexpected decision, one that left even their most dedicated fans questioning the brand's motives. With zero public acknowledgement or press release, the company quietly rolled out a wave of price increases across a broad range of its products. It wasn't subtle. It was fast, widespread, and completely unannounced. Almost overnight, shoppers began noticing that some of their favorite items had suddenly jumped in price. Fragrances that were previously priced at $400 had risen to $430. Iconic handbags, once listed at $2,500, now carried tags reading $2,650 or more. The shift was immediate, and for many consumers, it felt like a calculated move that couldn't have come at a worse time. In the middle of an ongoing credibility issue, this unexpected hike felt less like business as usual and more like a direct challenge to customer trust. So why would Louis Vuitton choose to raise prices amid a brand crisis? According to fashion market experts, it may be a show of strategic confidence, or, as some critics suggest, an overestimation of customer loyalty. LV has long built its business on scarcity and prestige. For many buyers, the appeal isn't just in the product itself, but in the social value that comes with owning it. That famous logo is more than branding. It's a symbol of taste, status, and inclusion in an elite circle. And the brand seems to believe that this kind of symbolic power will continue to justify higher prices, no matter the surrounding controversy. But this time, their confidence might be turning into miscalculation. Instead of accepting the price increases without protest, customers responded with visible frustration. Across social media platforms, especially TikTok, Instagram, and fashion discussion forums, comment sections filled with complaints. One particularly popular post summed it up with sharp sarcasm. "LV must think we don't check prices. They seriously believe we'll just hand over more money, no questions asked." Dozens of others joined in, expressing anger and disbelief with comments like, "Really assume we're not paying attention. And so we're supposed to pay more while trusting less?" The reaction has sparked a deeper, more urgent conversation. It's no longer just about the sticker price of luxury goods. It's about whether a brand can continue to ask for more from its customers while giving them less transparency in return. As questions about ethics, branding, and trust swirl around the label, consumers are reevaluating not just the products they buy, but the values those purchases represent. Then came a move that truly caught people off guard, one that echoed far beyond fashion and rippled through the business world. Bernard Arnault, the influential leader and longtime figurehead of Louis Vuitton's parent company, made an unexpected announcement. He would be stepping down from his top executive role. To the casual observer, it might have looked like a typical leadership handoff. But to those paying closer attention, the timing was anything but ordinary. Just days prior to his announcement, the company's stock experienced a dramatic decline. In just one trading day, the value of shares dropped sharply by 7%, resulting in a market loss estimated at around $9 billion. That kind of financial hit doesn't go unnoticed. Shareholders were alarmed, and discussions across financial forums and fashion circles grew louder. Behind the scenes, speculation ramped up. Industry insiders and market analysts began connecting the dots, suggesting that Arnault, widely regarded as a master strategist and one of the most successful business figures of our time, may have seen the writing on the wall and decided to step back before things escalated. What's becoming clear to many is that this isn't just about one brand facing a moment of crisis. It may point to something much bigger, a potential disruption in the luxury industry's entire business model. For decades, high-end fashion labels have cultivated an identity centered around artistry, limited availability, and prestige. Brands such as Louis Vuitton and Dior haven't merely sold accessories or apparel. They've sold a dream, a lifestyle, an emotional connection to something aspirational. But that narrative is now facing serious challenges. What used to be considered carefully kept secrets, like where items are actually made and how much they cost to produce, are being brought to light, particularly from voices within key manufacturing regions like China. These details have begun to shift public perception, revealing a side of the industry that many consumers hadn't previously considered. As a result, more people are asking tough questions. Are they truly paying for craftsmanship? Or are they paying for branding and perception? This growing transparency is causing concern across the sector. The fear is that if more information continues to surface, and if consumers grow increasingly skeptical of what makes something luxury, then the very foundation of this multi-billion-dollar business could begin to shift. What happens when the magic is gone? When buyers start to see these items not as rare works of art, but as mass-produced goods with high profit margins. Although Arnault's exit is officially framed as a natural succession or retirement, many are interpreting it as a signal, a quiet acknowledgement that even the most powerful figures in luxury fashion are bracing for change. Because if the current momentum of transparency and scrutiny continues, the future of luxury may be headed for a dramatic transformation. This story goes beyond just one brand. Hermès is dealing with courtroom battles. Gucci's in damage control mode, and shoppers everywhere are starting to wonder. If companies like Ferrari proudly showcase how their cars are made, why does Louis Vuitton stay so quiet? The reason? Transparency would ruin the illusion. Because once people realize those luxury pieces come from factories in Asia, not from ateliers in Europe, the mystique fades. Suddenly, that $3,000 handbag becomes what it always was, just another manufactured item. And now China is flipping the script. They're not just pulling back the curtain, they're stepping into the spotlight. Factories that once supplied the West are now selling similar quality goods straight to buyers, without the hefty markup. A premium-style bag for $200? It's just a few clicks away. Some experts see this as a global shift, a new form of competition where Western dominance in fashion may no longer hold. So here's what it all boils down to. Is luxury still real, or just a brand illusion? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're rethinking that price tag, explore the resources below. Thanks for tuning in. Stay sharp out there.